Hi everybody, this is a parts differentiation video for an AR15 lower parts kit. So I thought I've got other lower parts kits before, but I thought since AR15 is manufactured by ArmaLite, hence AR, it would be cool to get a real ArmaLite lower parts kit. I've had DPMS lower parts kits and they've been good when I've got them from DPMS. However, the last one I got from Brownells was actually shorted a pivot pin, which was, I thought, kind of a weird part to miss. But anyways, since there's only one of them. But anyways, we're going to a little shout out to Delta 3 Tactical. They had some good customer service, gave me a sticker. They have ArmaLite lower parts kits, amongst other stuff, such as this. So, came in a bag like this. Open her up. Has this fancy sticker on it. Even has a date and a time on it and a barcode. Single stage trigger. I'm going to be replacing it with a SSA, Geisley SSA, Super Semi-Auto. I already have an SSA-E in the Defend AR15, and it is very light. It is too light, in my opinion, for a combat trigger. So, unless you're, shooting long range, bench shooting, just kind of screwing around, want a really light, non-adjustable, nice trigger, definitely get the SSAE. It's great. However, in my opinion, for a combat trigger, it's just way too light. So, SSA. So, I thought that it was rather nice that it came in this fancy box. I've never seen that before. Usually just come in baggies. So, break the little seal. And when you open her up, it's kind of a mess. So, if it's your first time, it's kind of intimidating. Even if you have a AR LPK diagram picture to look at to help you, it could still be difficult. So after a while you learn to be able to identify the parts on site, because there's really only a few that are difficult. So start with the easy ones first and work your way down, process of elimination. Start with the easiest, so you got your trigger, and I just put them in little kind of piles, little groups, so then when you're assembling your lower, just kind of go down the list of objectives for each pile. So trigger, hammer's easy to spot, looks like a hammer. Trigger looks like a trigger. Disconnector is the only piece that looks like this. Put that over there. In order to make it appear random, I'll just grab a part, whichever one is the biggest at the time and sticks out. So you got your trigger guard, put that separate, that's easy to spot. Got your mag catch, put that in a different place. Next you got your bolt catch. I really like this bolt catch actually. It's usually just a little knob on the bottom, but it's got a full... I'm not really a fan of putting a lot of gadgets on your lower so much, so I really like this. So bolt catch, then you got your selector, easy to spot. Now we got a couple of bigger springs, shaped funny. Your bigger one's your hammer spring, put that over there. Then you got your trigger spring, put that in your trigger pile. Then you got basically your next biggest spring, which is for your mag catch. It's the biggest regular spring looking spring. So you put that in your mag catch pile. Your mag catch button is pretty easy to spot since it's the only thing that looks like a mag catch. Yeah, mag catch. Mag button, only thing that looks like a button, so other than this. Then you got your next fattest spring that's not super skinny, and that's easy to tell. Then that goes with your buffer retainer, which is the only part that looks the cylinder with a little knob on it, and that'll go in like so. That's kind of its own pile, so put that off to the side. Don't lose it. They're small. Then you got your grip screw and washer. Easy to spot. That's kind of its own thing too. You can put that over there by your buffer retainer. Then you got a couple of big pins with the notches in it. They're both the same, so don't worry about mixing them up. And those are for your trigger and your hammer, so those are trigger group parts, so you can put those in your trigger group pile. Then, getting down there, the next biggest are your pivot and your takedown pins, but we'll keep those in there for now. Next thing is there's a couple of roll pins. So the only ones that are going to look like this. One's fatter and longer. One is skinnier and shorter. The part they actually pound on. To tell a good roll pin from a bad roll pin, a good roll pin will be rolled over multiple times, kind of like rolling up a rug or something. So there'll be layers. So there's about, from what I can tell, there's 2 layers on one side of the roll pin, and then on the other side of the roll pin there's about 3 where it overlaps because it's been rolled, hence roll pin. And same with the bolt catch roll pin. So the fatter one is for your trigger guard, so you can go put that by the trigger guard. And smaller one goes with your bolt catch. Now it gets a little bit more difficult. So we're going to go with the 2 short and stubbier springs. Now, do not go by the length of the spring necessarily to tell them apart. One way to tell them apart is one is actually tapered just a little bit. So if you can tell, it's a little bit fatter down here than it is up here. whereas this one is straight. And a way to check this is you can take your bolt catch buffer and kind of try it on for size, and when it's on the right one, it's actually going to look right. It's going to be fit perfect no matter what side you put it on, and it's flush, and it fits perfectly. Whereas if you take the disconnector spring that'll go in your trigger group pile, it's not quite flush. This side maybe is, but on the fatter side it's not gonna be. So this is how you can tell that this is for your disconnector, and this should go in your trigger group pile. Then you know that this is for your bolt catch buffer, and so that should go in your bolt catch pile. Then I'm going to try and search for the rest of your 6 tiny parts. First one that's easy to spot is your detent for your selector. It's the big one. It's flat on this side. It's fairly easy to spot and learn to spot on sight just because it's the only part that looks like this. But it's not the only detent. So it's flat on this side, it's pointy on this side. That's how you tell that goes to your selector. Other 2 detents are identical. The last 3 springs are not identical. And kind of hard to even pick up. It'll bounce around on you. And the way to tell these apart is one of them is not like the other 2. One shorter and a little bit fatter. So you can tell pretty easy that since this is the one that's not like the other 2, this is then going to be for your selector. And the last 2 that are the same, that go with the detents that are the same, go with your takedown and your pivot pin. So you can just leave those. So now when you go to put your lower together, you can start with the mag catch. It's usually a good place to start. Maybe your trigger guard. I like to use an aftermarket trigger guard though. And yeah, you just go around and watch a different video to put your trigger group together, but that's not that hard either. And that's just kind of the step-by-step of how you tell the difference between your AR15 lower parts. And this ArmaLite parts kit definitely looks pretty good. So thanks for watching, and hope I could be helpful. Take it easy.